So I've outlined roughly 3/4 of Path of Relics Novel 3, and that last quarter, yeah, it's given me some trouble. So I know most of the major events of the novel. I know where the characters stand, especially at the beginning of the novel and going into most of the rest of the novel. But when it comes to that final leg and getting everything to gel together, I'm not quite there yet. So I want to give you an honest update on where novel 3 stands, what I'm doing to address the problem, and why I might have to start writing draft 1 before I know all of the details of the ending. So first, the good news. The outline is moving forward. Like I said, I'm 75% of the way through the outline. I know a lot of the major details. It's just that this novel has a lot of moving parts, right? We've got all of the characters that are involved now, their wants, their fears, their flaws that are influencing their decisions. I've got things like the world rules and the lore that I've already set up and some of the mysteries that I've begun to develop in the previous 2 novels. All of that needs to come together in a satisfying way, and it is a bit of a challenge, but I am getting there. And not to mention, this is a progression fantasy story. So, they have to advance, they have to gain skills, they have to grow in order to meet the new challenges that are coming their way, and that growth needs to feel earned. And of course, with that many details going on all at once, it's impossible to brainstorm everything all at the same time. So instead of continuing to attack the outline and just stare at that final quarter trying to figure out what to do, what I've decided is that I'm going back to the beginning of the outline, and I'm going to flesh out the parts that I know about, the parts that I feel are already strong. And I'm taking parts from my notes, my brain dump notes, and kind of entering that in the outline as I go along. And my hope is that by doing this, it's going to uncover something that maybe I missed that will give me some insights into how that final quarter of the novel should play out. Because what I've realized is sometimes it's not necessarily that the ending you have in mind is wrong. It's not the ending that's the problem. It is sometimes that you didn't set things up properly earlier in the story. And so that's what I'm hoping this process will help me to uncover. So the interesting thing is, I've written 2 novels now and self-published 2 novels, and I'm still figuring out what my writing process is. There's some authors who they can't stand the idea of an outline, right? The typical pantser. They will have a character in mind, they'll have a situation in mind, maybe a setting, and they'll just start writing and they'll see where the story takes them. Other authors, they are on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? They plan out as many details as they possibly can in that outline. And I'm starting to find out that I'm somewhere in between that. I do like to know the broad strokes of the story. I'd like to know where the characters are, how what they want influences their decisions and the actions they take, and then kind of how that it makes what happens in the novel happen. So that helps me to know to begin with. But I don't need to know every detail. I don't necessarily need to know how everything is going to end perfectly well. I just need those broad strokes, and I can start writing, I think, and let the process unfold and the answers come to me that way, and just expect that there's going to be some readjustments as I go along. So the way I see it right now, I have 2 possible paths forward. First, I could continue to work on the beginning of the outline like I plan to do now, strengthen that, see what insights that gives me, and that might reveal exactly what I want to happen, what I feel should happen at the end of the novel. Path 2 is that I get as far as I can with that, and if I still am not sure how the ending should go, I just need to start writing draft 1. And I think that through doing that and having that more detailed exploration of what the characters do and how they interact with the world, that will dislodge the ending of the story for me. And quite honestly, I'm becoming more comfortable with that second path. But either way, the moral of the story here is that draft 1 is getting close. And hey, if you enjoy these sort of behind the scenes looks at how I'm writing this novel and how I'm writing this novel series, not just the final announcements of when the novels are ready, then consider giving this video a like. It lets me know that you like this kind of content and want to see more of it. So all of this really has brought me to an interesting revelation, which is that some people think that you need to have that full outline to be able to start your first draft. And for me, at least, that's not the case. You know, I feel like I need a pretty good understanding of where the story is going to go, but then I can take over with the first draft and really flesh out the rest of it that I'm uncertain of. Because I think there is a danger, right, of the drafting, or rather the outlining process. If you stick on it too long, it probably stops becoming something useful and starts becoming procrastination, you know, and I'm trying to not let it get to that point. So for now, I'm going to continue to strengthen the beginning of the outline. I'm going to see what insights that unveils. You know, maybe it will help me finish that final quarter outright. Maybe it won't, and I'll have to go to the first draft and begin the first draft to finally get that ending of the story sussed out. And of course, that's only the first draft. There's going to be more drafts after that to tweak things and revise things, and that's part of the fun. And if you would like to follow all the way through my process of writing book 3, then please do consider subscribing to my channel, and again, giving it a like if you've liked what you've seen here today. And for now, I'm going to get back to the outlining, and I will let you know when that draft 1 starts. Thanks for watching.